Chair, you do need to sign up, and there is a registration form by the silent auction. Thank you.
Well, welcome to the 2018 Canada Cup for Wheelchair Rugby, the last round-robin games of the tournament prior to tomorrow's finals here at the Richmond Olympic Oval. I'm Coach Tim Frick, joined by Byron Green. Byron, a national team player 2014 with Canada at the World Championships, and looking forward to making the team hopefully for 2020 in Tokyo.
Yeah, that's the goal.
And so Byron, we've got this final game here. Japan 3-1, 3 wins, 1 loss. Denmark 3 losses, 1 win. Japan ranked 3 or 4 in the world, 4 in the world. Denmark ranked 9th. What do we expect?
Yeah, I think Japan is heavily favored to win here tonight, but I'm excited to see how the Danish high pointers can compete against the speedy high pointers from Japan. Denmark's got some serious speed in their high pointers, so I'm looking to see how they stack up.
So, we got Kevin Orr, head coach for Team Japan. Listen to this guy's resume. All right. 88 in Seoul. He won bronze medals in the 800 and 5,000 meters on the track. Played 4 years of basketball, University of Illinois. Coached the USA wheelchair rugby to a bronze medal in Athens. Then he coached Canada from 2009 to 2016. Picked up a Paralympic and a world silver medal with them. He's in the U.S. Collegiate Hall of Fame. And not only that, in between time, somehow he found time to coach track in Beijing in 2008. What is he going to do strategy-wise for his team up against Denmark now?
Yeah, well, Kevin Orr is a very, very experienced head coach with wheelchair rugby. Japan's a very talented team, lots of quality players on their bench. Kevin's going to have a very detailed game plan here, and he's going to be very vocal from the bench, letting his players know what kind of defense he wants them to run. So I expect some great strategy out of Team Japan here tonight.
On the other side, Jason Regier, the head coach of Team Denmark, he's actually from Denver. He's a former U.S. player, 3-time Paralympian. He really loves that fast-paced style of play as well. And, man, he's been around a long, long time as both a player and now, of course, as a coach. What do we expect from him?
Yeah, well, Jason Regier, he was a very intelligent player when he was playing wheelchair rugby. I'm sure he's going to have a very detailed game plan with his players. I expect some just solid wheelchair rugby out of the Danish crew. I know he's been working with the Danish team and improving their fundamentals. And, I expect a great team from Team Denmark.
And as the clock winds down here towards the starting time, we're under a minute to go. Who are the players to watch here for each team?
Yeah, well, for Japan, it's Daisuke and Ike, the 2 3-pointers. They're going to be handling the ball the majority of the time for Team Japan. And for Denmark, it's Sebastian and Leon. Leon's not on the court to start, but Sebastian is.
So the game gets underway a moment ahead of schedule, and there's Ike with the ball. Long pass to
almost intercepted
Ike
there.
Zaki. And Japan strikes first. And how important is it winning that tip?
You know what? It's not super important. If it was overtime, it's very, very important. But over the course of 4 8-minute quarters, you can come back from not winning the tip.
All right, Fredrickson now over the top to back Erickson. Flips it back to Fredrickson. Sees Mick Schuttel wide open, and this is Schuttel's first start of the tournament.
Yeah, Denmark's decided to start their balance lineup. I wonder if Coach Rukier likes his matchup better. Denmark's high-low has been playing the majority of the time this tournament, and I think that their high-low is one of their stronger lineups. So I'm a little surprised to see the balance, but Rukier must like what he sees out there.
And Ike will score for Team Japan. Ikazaki has 111 tries in the tournament so far.
Yeah,
Ike no slouch with 51.
Yeah, Daisuke Ikazaki he's a real treat to watch. He's so dynamic out there, so powerful, so elusive too. It's always a pleasure to watch him play. And we have a timeout from Denmark here. So you only have 10 seconds to get the ball in bounds, and Japan there was putting on the pressure on a hard deny, and Denmark had to use one of their timeouts.
So, Byron, you're using a lot of terms that probably the family and friends are not quite aware of. A lot of accomplished players watching and enjoying the breakdowns. But when you say hard deny, for the layperson, what do you mean by that?
Yeah, so you only have 10 seconds to get the ball in. So if Japan plays underneath of the Danish players, making that a dicey pass to get in without getting intercepted, Denmark's going to struggle to even get the ball in. They only have 3 players on the court as well, so there's a numbers advantage for Japan.
Right, and here goes Fredrickson now. He's double teamed by the 2 Ikes, Ikezaki and Ike.
Ike's got some serious height too, so getting that ball out of there was difficult, but he manages.
Over the top to Bach Eriksson. Lucky bounce there for Denmark. Shot clock running down, 10 seconds. Fredrickson finds an opening inside the left post and puts Denmark or ties the game, I should say, for Denmark. So is that the attempted steel curtain violation?
Yeah, so
penalty?
The Danish low pointer there, number 1, was trying to do a steel door play. So that's where he locks up the inbounder as he comes onto the court. It's called a steel door. But you have to give the inbounding player a meter to come on, and he did not, and that's why he's in the sin bin.
So Thomas Pay guilty of that penalty, and now Ikazaki will kind of delay a little bit as the Japanese team get ready for their defensive setup on the next possession.
So they're working hard right here in transition, trying to lock up Sebastian. He's staying free though, so that's a great job from the Danish player. But yeah, Japan was holding up there to try to gain an advantage.
So Bach Eriksson will inbound for Denmark. Nice pass to Fredrickson. He's guarded closely by Ike. Noramatsu tracks him down.
And that was a great pick from the Danish number 9 to allow Fredrickson to advance up that left side of the court.
So the veteran Kishi also getting a start for Japan. He's playing just over 20 minutes of the game for the last couple of games. Ikazaki looks for an opening. Japan kind of stagnant, finds an opening and just goes through it like a hot knife through butter.
Yeah, Daisuke is so explosive and so hard to contain. So Denmark's really going to have to step up their defense if they want to stop him.
Bach Eriksson looking for someone to pass to, finds Fredrickson. He's double teamed, gets the ball back. Nice give and go. Here comes Bach Eriksson barreling down the middle, almost loses the ball. Hit from behind by Ike, but still manages to score the try. And
oh no, he called a timeout there because he was being driven into the cone.
He was about to hit the post.
Yeah, so a great call there to use that timeout before turning the ball over. So each team starts with 4 on-court timeouts. They can be called at any time, and you get 30 seconds. And each team also has 2 bench timeouts, which can only be used during stopped play. And you get a minute with those.
So very good use of one of those timeouts. Often we see the timeouts used just because they were in trouble. But this time it was smartly to prevent a try being disallowed.
Wow, and
it all goes for naught, though.
The 2 Japanese high pointers there, Daisuke and Ike, really muscle those Danish players out of bounds there and cause that turnover.
Bach Eriksson reaching inside on Ike, but Ike manages to fight him off and head back down. 2-on-1 with Ikezaki. And again, Ikezaki waits till he sees what his defensive players are doing before he rolls in for the try. Guess we'll take a moment here, every chance we get, to thank our sponsors. We'll start with BC Wheelchair Sports Association, Byron, who really invented this event. This is the 8th Canada Cup, Wheelchair Rugby Canada, and of course the International Wheelchair Rugby Federation. As Schüttel will try to inbound the ball.
Oh no, that's a really unfortunate call for Denmark.
Was he on the line?
Yeah, so the Danish inbounder had crept onto the court before he inbounded the ball, so that's going to result in a turnover in Japan's favor.
I think the Olympic Oval here, they built it on a slight slope to drain when the ice melted.
Yeah.
And nobody told Shuttle there.
So we have substitutions for both teams. For Japan is Shinichi Shimakawa coming out for Ike. And Denmark's put out their high-low lineup. So that's 2 3-5s, a 1-pointer, and Sophie, who's a 0.5. However, since she's a female, she gets to play as a 0. Wheelchair rugby is one of the few sports that's co-ed, even at the highest level.
Although there are not that many women playing, as we see Fredrickson getting past Ikazaki. And Fredrickson's had one heck of a tournament. Just take a look at the stats here. He scored 75 tries and has 6 steals, so
Yeah, and
strong
he
tournament.
really showcasing his speed there, beating Dice K in a drag race.
And here he is tracking him down on defense. Peters is guarding Shimakawa, I think that is. Peters played with the Invictus team and Team Denmark.
Yeah,
There he is.
he's a bit of a rookie with the Danish team, but I've been very impressed with his maneuverability and his speed. He's going to be quite the player for Team Denmark.
And Norimatsu, the 1.5. He was named the best 1.5 here at Canada Cup in 2016 and also at this year's Quad Nations Cup, so he's got some credentials.
Yeah, he's a big part of Team Japan. This is arguably one of their strongest lineups, and Seiya is a big part of it.
Well, Kruger trying to pass that ball in, had no one to go to.
And they use a timeout.
And eventually they have to use one of their, was it you that called it the get out of jail free card?
I believe I referenced that earlier in this tournament, and they're down to their last remaining get out of jail free.
And we're not even 4 minutes in yet. We're 4:30 to go, first quarter here.
Yeah, and Japan's quality is really showing through here. They're already up 3. Denmark's had to use 3 timeouts. They're under some heavy pressure here from Team Japan.
So Skaubo into the game for the lone female player on the Danish team. Here comes Fredrickson now. He's got Peters crossing. Big hit by Peters. Creates a bit of space, but now Skaubo with a nice back screen. And in goes Peters. What a pass, too, from Fredrickson.
Yeah, that was a great job from Skylo to seal that corner for her high pointer to receive that pass and then score it across the try line.
Japan back the other way. Oh, there was a big hit lined up.
That was a great job to evade that big hit from Sebastian. Good job by Seiya.
Well, Shimakawa gets the ball away to Norimatsu, and he hits the post, but I think he was across the line first.
So you have to get 2 wheels across the line to score a try, and the ref decided that he did indeed have 2 wheels across the line before making contact with that cone. So that is a good try.
So Kruger with the bump pass over top of that denied defense. Good grab by Peters. Peters has hit 3 times there in succession and hangs on.
And Kevin Orr was calling for a big hit there from Shinichi Shimakawa. But Peters weathers the pressure and scores a try.
Ikazaki now deep in his own zone, I should say. And
he reaches in there and draws the illegal use of hands penalty. So you're allowed to make a play on the ball, but if you contact the other player or their wheelchair, the refs will see that and put you into the penalty box for 1 minute or until the other team scores.
And I don't think I've seen a penalty successfully killed off at this tournament yet.
Yeah, it's very rare to see someone serve the full minute. With wheelchair rugby, teams are usually scoring on 80% plus of their offensive possessions. So when you're up a man, it makes that even more easy to score. So it's very rare to see a penalty fully killed off.
Here comes Ikazaki now. Peters being picked out by 2 Japanese players.
Yeah, so Japan's working here to try to set up their next defensive possession here. So you can see Seiya has trapped the box, he's going to force Sebastian to either get trapped or call inbounder. And he calls inbounder. So
that
Japan
means that one of their better receivers is now throwing the ball in.
Yeah, he's worth 3.5 points. So when he's off the court, it's going to be tough to get that ball in. But they managed with a give and go.
Give and go to Scabo there. Nice little tip back by Scabo.
And a nice pass up to Peters there.
To Peters, and here comes Peters. Tracked down by Ike Zaki. He's hit hard and calls a timeout.
So they used their final timeout. That was a great job to call that timeout. He saw the hit coming and he knew he was going to get pushed out of bounds, so he uses that last timeout.
He saw the freight train. And while we get organized here, we'll thank the Government of Canada, Government of BC, Province of BC, of course, Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture, Richmond Sport Hosting, who really help. This hosting an event like this brings tourism to the city as well, and so that's really a great cultural experience for both the visitors and the residents.
Yeah, there's a lot of teams from out of town here, and friends and family have traveled along with them, and I'm sure they're seeing some sights when their friends and family aren't playing.
Absolutely, and a lot of them stay afterwards for a bit and visit. And they've just hit the jackpot too, because the weather just changed.
Oh, it's gorgeous out today.
It is beautiful out today at the Richmond Olympic Oval.
I believe we're in for about a week of this weather. So.
And here comes Fredrickson now looking for an opening. Kruger tries to pick. Peters tries to sneak inside. He does, receives the pass. Nice pass inside. That's in traffic too.
Yeah, and that was over top of one of the Japanese defenders. So that was a tough pass to make, but they execute.
Shimikawa all alone over the top. And a try like that looks easy, Byron, but a lot of work went into freeing him up so he could be wide open.
Yeah, and Shinichi Shimakawa was kind of defending his ground and really set that pass up, and Daisuke made a good pass and made it look easy.
There's Peters now. Tracked down by Ikezaki. Back to Fredrickson. Up to Kruger. Kruger is about to get hit. He hangs on for dear life. He's in the key though, and he's pushed through by
Daisuke.
Ikezaki. I think he was trying to push him into the post, but
he ends up putting him right into the try line.
And we've got an equipment timeout. The equipment timeout, I noticed the players have some signals too as to what piece of equipment needs fixing. Byron, give us a story on that.
Yeah, so the two most common types of equipment is either a flat tire or your axle is out. So if your axle's out, you don't need the equipment staff to bring you your brand new spare wheel. You just need them to come out and put that axle back in. But if you have a flat tire, you'll need your spare wheel brought out and you'll have to do the switch. So with only a minute to execute the equipment fix, they'll often signal to the bench so the equipment person knows exactly what they need to bring out.
And that time that signal with the arms waving in a circle, indicating the new wheel required. And boy, if you're an equipment manager on a wheelchair rugby team, you got a busy job.
It's they do a lot for us. They're very, very skilled, and they're usually volunteers. So good on them. Sport of wheelchair rugby probably wouldn't be as exciting without them.
And the speedy Shimakawa, he's been on the national team, Byron, since 2001.
Yeah, he's one of the veterans on this Japanese team, and he's a real speedster out there, and he loves to hit. He is one of the biggest hitters in the sport of wheelchair rugby. So the Danish players are really going to have to keep their heads up out here.
And Shimikawa played in the U.S. a few years back and was named Best 3.0 in the league, and he's the only foreign player ever to win a Best in Class designation.
Yeah, I believe he's won the U.S. National Championships at least once, if not a couple of times, and that's quite the accomplishment. It's a very ferocious tournament with many, many teams, and yeah, it's quite the accomplishment to win a U.S. national title.
So Kruger now gets the inbounds pass. He spun around, loses it, picked up by Ikezaki, and he'll run across the line, or roll across the line, I should say, as quick as possible.
And you heard the Japanese head coach there calling for Daisuke to score that goal quick, and that's in the last few minutes of every quarter. It's very important to set up last possession. So Kevin Orr saw that the time was at 1:37, and he wanted his players to score quick.
Shimakawa now up to Ikizaki. This time they'll use a bit of time. They'll wait and set things up. Ikizaki with the ball, waits for Shimakawa. He's got Norimatsu with him.
I believe Japan's going to want to score here around 55 seconds left on the game clock.
Basically a 3-on-3 as Kishi's got his man locked up. Kruger in the back court. Shimakawa now.
Yeah, you can hear the Japanese bench calling down for their players on the court so they can execute the
Fredrickson,
goal at the right time.
Fredrickson forces him in though. And
Yeah, that was a smart move by Fredrickson. However, Japan does score with 55 seconds left, setting themselves up nicely for that two-for-one possession.
so Kruger calls inbounder, and here comes Fredrickson now. Japan content to let the ball be inbound.
Yeah, after scoring on 55 seconds, it's very important that you force the other team to take longer than 15 seconds to score. And they get a pretty good result. There's 43 seconds left. So they will be able to execute last goal here if they can get across half safely.
In theory, Japan will hang on and score with a few seconds left. Here comes Ikizaki now, gets away from Fredrickson. Peters hits him, gets the ball away to Shimakawa.
Now
He
that they're
pulls up.
they're across half, so they're going to pull up and look to score with 1 or 2 seconds left on the clock.
Shimakawa turning back, creating some space, covered by Kruger. Ikizaki is covered by Fredrickson. Fredrickson instead peels off and goes after the ball. Peters can't stop. Norimatsu with a great recovery there.
Yeah, they got lucky there. That was a lucky bounce for Japan because that pass was a little bit off, and Japan got lucky to recover that.
So penalty called on Fredrickson. So 3-try lead for Team Japan,
And they're going to inbound here with
They
5
will-
seconds left.
they will have a power play with 5 seconds, which is quite a bit of time for a power play.
Yeah, they should be fine. And they score with 0 seconds left on the clock. So great job by Japan.
I should have boned up on my Japanese counting as they're all counting down in Japanese there. I used to be able to count from 1 to 10 forwards, but there's no way I could go 10 to 1.
Very impressive, Tim.
Anyway, at the quarter, it's 15-11 Team Japan over Denmark. Take a moment to thank the Sheraton Vancouver Airport Hotel, Hilton Vancouver Airport Hotel, the Vancouver Airport Marriott Hotel, who've looked after the athletes extremely well. And I know some training camps, Byron, you've probably stayed at one of those hotels and quite enjoyed the hospitality as well as the accessible rooms. Vesco Metalcraft Hollister and the local 258 of the IBEW. And let's talk about Vesco for a minute. What about that big package they're auctioning off at the end of the tournament?
Yeah, Vesco's been very, very generous for the last couple of Canada Cups, and they auction off a brand new wheelchair rugby chair. The price tag on those can stretch anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000. So if you are here and are in need of a new rugby wheelchair, be sure to visit that auction because you're going to get a pretty good price on it.
From what I can understand, the value of this package, because it includes everything, would be probably in excess of $10,000. And of course, the money doesn't go to Vesco; it goes to programs, wheelchair rugby programs, in the province of BC and Canada here. So, great donation by Vesco, and of course they sponsor a number of players here. I'm not sure which ones. I haven't been given that list. Perhaps.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Daisuke on Japan, so number 7, is sponsored by Vesco. I believe he's the only Japanese player to be sponsored by Vesco here.
So on the other court, we've got Denmark and, Canada and Australia, and that's a rematch of the 2012 London Paralympics. And at halftime, we'll do a quick wrap here and cut across there for a few minutes so that folks that are enjoying this game can get caught up to date on the Canada-Australia matchup. And then tomorrow is finals Sunday, and regardless of how this game turns out, it'll be Denmark taking on Sweden at 10 a.m. Pacific, Canada and Australia again at 12 noon Pacific, and the Team Japan will play against undefeated USA for the gold medal. And the USA has won every Canada Cup they've ever entered, and that's 5 out of the 8.
Yeah, very
Well,
impressive.
5 out of the 7. And
very, very impressive record from the U.S. And I believe that Shinichi Shimakawa is actually sponsored by Vesco as well for Japan.
So Ime into the game for Japan, inbounds the ball to Ikezaki. He's tracked down by Fredrickson, using Ime as a blocker. Thomas Pay comes over but can't make contact. Jorgensen's in the game for Denmark. He's a veteran player. Number 3, Leon Jorgensen. He's been on the team since 2009.
Yeah, I think he's one of their most veteran players. He's played quite a bit in the U.S. domestic league to gain experience.
And guess who he played with?
I think he's played with Denver.
He played with Coach Regier in Denver.
That's right, yeah.
Very good. Can't get you on a trivia question. As we see the...
So Leon's going to be, I expect him to carry the ball quite a bit here for Denmark and really be kind of a stabilizing presence out there.
He's had a pretty good tournament so far, 31 tries, and he hasn't had a lot of playing time, so quite efficient. He lays the hit on Ike himself. And here comes Fredrickson now. Left side, looking for an opening. Tracked down by Ikezaki. Turns away. Nice pick by Jorgensen.
And by Peg.
The Pay with the seal on that right side, so could have drove a truck through that hole.
Yeah, that was a great job to set up that goal.
Ikezaki following Ime down the left side, finds Ike all alone, and Ike is a tall player too. Don't see too many tall players. Most players preferring to sit low and be a little bit faster, but Ike can sit high and be fast.
Yeah, Ike is definitely probably the tallest player in the international scene at the moment. And it's the way that he has his chair set up. I believe that his leg is not able to fully bend, so he's kind of forced to sit up that high. But it really gives him some advantages. He's almost undeniable on an inbound if he sets up within the inbounder's range due to that height, and it also gives him an advantage while attacking a key defense.
And it looks like Ime in there for the try on a nice pass from the aforementioned Ike. And it'll be Kruger inbounding for Denmark to Fredrickson. Fredrickson's got some room on the right side.
And there's that speed that we were talking about earlier.
And they're with Ike chasing him down. I guess it's a height versus speed advantage, disadvantage in terms of your chair setup. So great for receiving those inbound plays, but not so good for top speed.
Yeah, and it probably affects his stability too. He'll hit the ground quite a bit because he sits so high. It's surprising actually that he doesn't get flipped over more often, but I think with his being a class 3, he's able to control his chair well enough that he's not getting flipped over too often.
So Kruger calls inbounder and heads back. He's looking for Jorgensen or Fredrickson. Might have to use Pay on the give and go, but instead Fredrickson gets it. He's tracked down by Ike and Ikezaki. Turns and spins, gets it over the top to Jorgensen. Jorgensen evades contact from Ikezaki, and he'll go all the way in to score.
Wow, that was a great job by Denmark. They just eked over half court, barely under 12 seconds. So great job from Denmark to get out of a tough situation.
So there's that pass into Ike, nice and tall. Gets rid of it right away to the, I'll call him the superstar Ikezaki. He's a tremendous player. Nice long pass to Ime.
Oh, and he sneaks in there.
Hit by Jorgensen, almost hit the post, but manages to slide by on the short side there.
And there, you can see the players jostling for position right now, and they're trying to eke out any sort of advantage that they can by getting wheel position on their defenders. And Japan's working a tight deny here, but ball comes in and an easy pop up.
Well, what great anticipation by the veteran Jorgensen to realize that Fredrickson had freed himself and was streaking down the court, and Fredrickson is fast.
Yeah, and it was great anticipation from Fredrickson to see that the ball was coming in and to make that break deep.
Back comes Ikezaki. He surveys the scene, left side. Tries to go one-on-one against Kruger, but nothing there. This time he tries Pay, nothing there. Looks down the middle, barges his way right through between Jornsen and Thomas Pay.
And that's a good display of his power there, just forcing his way through the two Danish defenders.
This time it's Jornsen inbounds to Fredrickson. Now we've got a race. Here comes Fredrickson, and he'll easily outstrip the two very speedy Japanese players.
Yeah, and he kind of actually made them look a little bit slow there, surprisingly enough. Sebastian, I've been very impressed with his speed.
He's had a tremendous tournament. And I guess having the 2014 Worlds, I mean, you were there in Denmark, probably helped the program.
Yeah, it really did. I know leading up to the 2014 World Championships, Denmark was pretty new on the international scene, but they really impressed. I think they might have finished 6th or 7th in that tournament, maybe a little bit higher, but their program has really grown a lot since. So it's great to see a country like Denmark making a name for themselves on the world scene.
EK with the post play down low as he backs in for the easy try, and here comes Jornsen. Jornsen gets over center, follows Pay, hit by Ime, gets it off to Fredrickson. Fredrickson creating some space, uses a pick from Pay. Looked like he had an opening behind Jornsen, but it closed up. Now he's harassed by Ikezaki. Beats Ikezaki and finds a hole, and through he goes. And there was a lot of room on the left side here on that.
Oh, and Japan with that quick strike offense. So every so often, one of the three-pointers from Japan will call inbounder. And when the other Japanese three-pointer sees that, he's going to streak deep, receive that deep pass, and score quickly.
Nice fast break. Here comes Fredrickson now to Jornsen. Kruger with a pick. Jornsen hits Ike. Waits for his teammates to join. He's got Fredrickson, and that pass just out of his reach, picked off by Ikezaki. And here comes Ikezaki. He's got Ike with him. Long pass. Ike had to step on it there to catch up to that ball, but he does. And Japan now with a 5-try lead.
Yeah, Japan is looking in control of this game. It's kind of going as we predicted it would, but Denmark still working hard out here.
Here comes Fredrickson now. Weaving down the court. Goes back door on Ike. And that's got to be something the coaches teach you, is always try to beat the player on the back of their wheels. Get them turning and...
Yeah, well, you drive to the front of them, and they have to respect that, and then you do that quick turn back door, and there's not much that they can do to defend that.
And Ike with a fast break. Nice pass from Ikezaki. And Japan really stretching the court out here nicely.
Yeah, Japan's really using the full court to their advantage, really spacing it out and making those long passes.
Kruger into Jornsen. Jornsen's got a bit of room. Right side. Runs out of space. Wisely bounces the ball before the 10-second violation. He's got an opening there. Tried to bull his way in, but shut down by Ike. Now it's back to Fredrickson. Fredrickson looking for some space. Finds it, goes back door on Imai, and again there's that same play. Make him go forward and then attack his back.
A nice give and go by Japan there, and then the quick pop up to Daisuke.
Here comes Ike now. He's got Imai wide open. Good hit by Jornsen. Kind of made that pass a little bit tougher, and now Ike is going to have to go in and try to score himself, and he does, as he does the same thing to Fredrickson down the other end.
And Tomo
off the back wheel.
Tomo did a great job of receiving that pass. It was a little bit behind him, but he juggles it a little bit, but secures it, and then gives it back to Ike for the try.
And Imai, the best Class 1 at the 2015 Asia Oceania qualifying tournament, so he's got some pedigree as well.
Mm-hmm. All right, here we have a quick bench timeout here for Denmark, and they're going to make some substitutions. I believe that Japan's going to take this opportunity to sub as well.
So with 2:42 left in the first half, we'll talk a little bit about our great webcasting crew, SportsCanada.TV. It's also known as Murderball.tv, which is kind of fun.
Yeah,
and, not only that, we're broadcast live. Byron, on the by the Canadian Paralympic team on their Facebook page. So If you can't get to SportsCanada.TV on the web, go to Facebook and follow the Canadian Paralympic team, and you'll see all the action.
And I believe the games are being archived, so if you're not able to watch live, you can always come back at a later date and enjoy some wheelchair rugby.
And you can enjoy that try by Jornsson, basically taking on the entire Japanese team and finding a little gap to slip through. Shimakawa now looking for someone to pass to, finds the big Ike. A long pass to Norimatsu. He picks it up. He'll wait for his teammates to join him. And Shimakawa does just that. Nice little, that's the world's longest give and go, but it worked.
Yeah, Seiya did a good job of scooping that ball up and before he got hit, and then dishing it off to Shimakawa there.
Jornsson into Elmholt now. Elmholt into the game, along with Skavo. Elmholt hit hard by Ike. Gets it away before he gets the over and back. Here comes Elmholt. He better watch out. He's hit from both sides by Ike and Shimakawa. Elmholt now, or Elmholt should say. He's got Jornsson wide open right side. Tries to pass it inside to, I can't see who that was. That's
Sophia there.
Skabo. Just about got herself on the scoreboard as she had some open space. Mikkel Schottel there as well. There's that reach of Ike. He spins away from the defense. He's tracked down again. They're running out of time. Gets the ball over just in the nick of time. Jornsson hassling Shimakawa, but he gets away from him and kicks it back to Ike. Ike checks the defense, or his anticipated defense, I should say, before rolling over the try line. Japan not backing down at all here as Schottel tries to get out of his own zone. He's deep. Finally, Jornsson, just out of desperation, gets the ball over center and picked off by Japan.
And that's what happens when you run out of timeouts. I mean, you got no more get out of jail free cards, so you really have to kind of go for those high risk plays.
Ike with the ball now uses Norimatsu as a blocker and sneaks in the left side just inside the post. So Japan just not backing down at all here. One last shot clock left, or one last possession clock left before the end of the half. Jornsson, the ball hits the Japanese player, so it won't be an over and back. Jornsson gets it back again. He's hit hard by Ike. Ike just being hit from all different sides. Finally gets it away. This time it's picked off by Norimatsu, and Japan with incredible pressure on the ball.
Yeah, they're really laying it to Denmark right now, and Denmark is struggling, and obviously with that turnover, Japan is looking to score last goal here.
And of course, the two key ball handlers for Denmark are on the bench right now, Fredriksson and Mark Peters, and they get a little extra long break going into that halftime, so it's a little coaching strategy, but Japan recognizing that and jumping on it right away.
Yeah, they're really taking advantage of that. Japan's got 2 seconds here to get the ball in and score. And they do.
And Ike does that, a nice high post, or low post play to the tall player, I should say, and that will just about do it for the first half here. Japan with a commanding lead over Denmark, 30-22 here at the 2018 Canada Cup for Wheelchair Rugby on SportsCanada.TV, and we are going to cut away quickly to the Canada-Australia match on the other court, Byron.
When you got bad to inbound it to. And oh!
Yard sale.
Over the top I'm not sure who that is went down, but his wheel came off as well.
That's Fabian Lavoie, the 3-pointer that went down after that big hit.
Wheel off, man down.
You see that the teams are always jostling for position, even when there's a man down. Looks like they're trying to corral number 10, Trevor Hirschfield. Hopefully, what they're hoping to do is try to have their number 8, number 6 clamp down on him. If they do manage to get a hold of Hirschfield, that means they're going to have Riley and Bond versus Caldwell and Fabian Lavoie on the ensuing inbound. That's exactly what they're looking for.
So a couple Canadians locked up in the Australian coverage.
Hirschfield looking for the bench for instruction whether he should inbound or not. We'll see how this plays out.
Morale over the top. Nice pass to Lavoie. Morale now out with him, but he tried to use a wide lane. That contacts him almost apologetically. Is that a spin there?
Yeah, that was a spin. Sometimes these spin plays happen so fast that it's sometimes a difficult call for some of these refs because a spin call can be up for interpretation depending on whether they feel it was warranted or if it was dangerous or because a lot of times people do contact behind the axle, but then they're not all called spins. I mean, we do play a contact sport. You can't be calling every single ticky-tacky call. So the refs want to maintain some flow in the game, all the while still managing it.
Lavoie gets a pick from Hirschfield. Morale now trying to help out as well as Lavoie gets by the coverage, making sure things are set on the other end as we see a battle before he will ultimately score. 6:01 to go, and we've got a tie game at 17 apiece. Bat, nice long shoot pass over the top to Bond. Good job of Lavoie to keep up with him, to stop him initially. Now he gets help from Hirschfield. Forcing Bond to stop up, finds Bat. Can he use the outside? No, he can't. Forced to spin again as he bounces the ball. Now goes all the way to the other side of the court and will score there.
Looks like an equipment timeout.
Appears we will have some substitutions coming up shortly. And it is an equipment timeout as Ozan getting a new tire. Good to go. Morale the inbound for Canada. Lavoie trying to get away from Bond. Morale looking to help him do that, and he does. Bond charging from behind, Bat with him, and Caldwell in the back court gets a nice pass. What does Bond have his sleeve up here on the inbound? Short pass to Fawcett and back to Bond.
Bond's got some serious.
All right, I hope you enjoyed that little sojourn over to the Canada-Australia court, and we're back live here. Japan versus Denmark. Ike Zaki, Japan with an 8-try lead. Ike Zaki looking for an opening. Instead, he finds Nagayasu. I believe that was. Oh no, Hashimoto. Sorry, that's Hashimoto out of the plays for the Tohoku Stormers. He's a rookie, and he is the youngest player ever at the Canada Cup.
Yeah,
I believe. Gets a chance to play first time, I believe.
I believe he's only 16 years old, and I think he has a very bright future ahead of him in the sport of wheelchair rugby. So Japan's lucky to get a player like him at such a young age.
And there he is again. Hashimoto. My notes say 15, so that's
oh wow,
even more impressive. Mind you, I can never remember my own birthday, let alone somebody else's. Here comes Mark Peters now. The left side. Ike Zaki tries to slow him down, but he can't. And he will instead inbound the ball to Hashimoto. Hashimoto loses it. Picks it up again. Ooh, just about got hit by Pay, but teammate Ime bailed him out with a nice pick. Hashimoto, a nice pass over the top to Ike Zaki. So not only does he get a try, he gets an assist. All he needs now is either a fight or an elbowing penalty to get a Gordie Howe hat trick. Bach Erickson back into the game. Here comes Peters now. Nice give and go. Peters and Schottel work together 2-on-2.
Yeah, Peters can't quite find that opening there versus Daisuke. Great job of defense.
Zaki picked by Bach Erickson, but Ime comes over to help out. Peters running out of ideas over there, far side. Looking for someone to pass to. It was a nifty little bounce pass, but right into the hands of Hashimoto.
Yeah, it didn't
the
quite
rookie.
find the mark.
And he will give it up to Ike Zaki. It's nice to have a guy like Ike Zaki as your outlet.
Yeah.
And there's the give and go. Schottel with no chance at all to stop that.
Yeah, and that's a good move by the coach Kevin Orr to put the youngster out there with some experience and give him a good chance to find some success.
And while we got an equipment timeout, Byron, talk to me about the intensity that we're seeing from these teams. I mean, even though this game is an 11-try game, both teams playing with incredible intensity still.
Yeah, well, this is the last international major tournament before World Championships in Australia in August. So these teams are really taking the opportunity to finally hone their game in preparation for what's set to be the most competitive World Championships ever in wheelchair rugby.
Bach Erickson now into Schottel. Schottel sees Peters wide open. Hashimoto tries to lay a hit on him, but at 15 years old and 98 pounds, he's not going to really make much of a difference to a big guy like Peters.
Yeah, mass makes a big difference in the sport of wheelchair rugby. The more you have of it, the harder you can hit.
And here comes Hashimoto now. Got some room right side. Bach Erickson tracks him down. Finds Ike Zaki over top. Ike Zaki chooses not to score, but instead comes back to set up his teammate Hashimoto, and they'll also set up their defense in advance here. And Japan with full court pressure. Bach Erickson almost loses it, hangs on. Long lob pass over the top, tracked down by Schottel. Schottel being chased by Hashimoto. Hashimoto again can't quite catch him, and the youngster putting in a valiant effort.
But kind of bounced right off his wheel.
Yeah, that's right.
On that play, what you really need to do is get in front of that player. Hitting into their wheel is not going to do too much, but it was a great effort nonetheless.
The Hashimoto comes back the other way, picks up that long lead pass to score a try, and he's on the board. Bach Erickson now. Up to Mark Peters. Peters finds some room. Shut down by Ike Zaki. Now it's going to be one-on-one. Instead, Schottel sneaks in the left side. Nice recognition by Peters that he had an open player.
Yeah, and that was a nice cut by Schottel to find that opening and cut in there for the pass.
Hashimoto tracked down by Peters, almost knocked out of his chair, but hangs on and gets the ball to Ike Zaki.
Yeah, that was great chair control from the youngster to keep upright and make that pass.
And he's rewarded as Ike Zaki waits for him to get free. And the Danish defense seems to be a little bit too spread out. They're not really able to close any of those gaps.
Yeah, well, Daisuke, he requires at least 2 to 3 defenders to stop him from getting up the court. So it's really opening up the youngster deep for those passes.
And Mark Peters there with a burst of speed, beating Ike Zaki. And
Yeah.
I think Coach Kevin Orr looks like he's calling a full timeout here to
He's
get
called
some subs into the game.
Yeah, you're exactly right. He's called a bench timeout. He's used one of his 2 bench timeouts to get some subs into the game. So the youngster comes out, and Shinichi Shimakawa is back in.
And I think we also forgot that Coach Orr was part of the Murder Ball movie, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I believe he was coaching the U.S. team at the
yes.
time, and they suffered that big defeat to the Canadians.
So he's got international medals in multiple sports, not to mention movie credits. Here comes, I think that's Shimikawa left side, finds Ikizaki wide open. And Ikizaki, I just love the enthusiasm he plays with.
Yeah,
He's like a whirling dervish out there.
Yeah, he's so dynamic. It's it's a real treat to watch him play.
Peters now hit hard by Norimatsu. Gets away from him, and the 12 second violation.
Great defense by Japan. That's just a smothering defense. I don't think a single Danish player even got across half court. Not even accounting for the ball getting across half court.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's one thing to stop the ball, but it's another thing to stop all 4 players. And Norimatsu now inbounding to Ikizaki. Over to Shimakawa. And the veteran Shimakawa scores easily.
And
Japan with incredible pressure. There's the give and go inbounds.
Yeah, they forced Sebastian to inbound here for Denmark, but he executes the give and go, and he uses that incredible speed to bust across half and score that try.
Well, talk about great crossing play going down the court by Peters and Fredrickson there. Peters with a couple of hits.
Yeah, we call that a crack block in wheelchair rugby, and it's very similar to a pick and roll from basketball. So Peter is doing a great job to cross up with his ball carrier and free himself out for either a pass or to free up the ball carrier.
And I think we were talking about this in the last game. That is an onomatopoeia, that crack block, because you can hear the crack when the block is made. Here comes Peters now, racing against Ikizaki and beats him across the line. Ikizaki tried to force him into the post. Nice
Wow.
bump pass. Wow, that's a long.
The very rare high pointer bump pass, but it works out for Japan.
Shimakawa, so that really did stretch the court though, and the Danish team struggling to get back on defense to defend that try line.
Yeah, they're really going to have to account for that Japanese player streaking deep. If they don't, Japan's going to gain half court very, very easily with their great passing.
And Kruger now inbounds to Peters. He's bottled up. Passes to Fredrickson, hit hard by Ikizaki. Nowhere to go. Finally a little bit of room. Just gets over center line in time. Fredrickson now goes back to the left side looking for a pick from Skaubo. Instead he's hit by Shimakawa, and I don't know what happened. Ikizaki turned the wrong way.
Yeah,
it's kind of like Bannister and Landy in the 54 Empire Games. He looked over one shoulder and the player went by him in the other.
That's a great analogy there, Tim.
For all you sport historian buffs out there. Here comes Ikizaki now. He's got Shimakawa with him. And the veteran Shimakawa scores easily. Skaubo deep in the court, hustling to get back to help out on the inbounds. Peters instead, though. He's tracked down by Shimakawa. Great speed by Shimakawa there.
Yeah, good job to recover there. I thought Peters was by him, but Shinichi Shimakawa reels him back in.
Fredrickson now looking for some breathing room left side. He's hit by Ikizaki. The hit wasn't quite there, and so Fredrickson able to spin around and back across the try line, and there's that quick
strike offense.
Outlet pass again. Boy, that's got to be frustrating when you work like crazy to get a try, and then the other team turns around and picks one up in a matter of seconds, literally.
Yeah, I mean, coaches really don't like that. You're really just gifting them such an easy goal, and you're forced to go right on the offensive right away again to face that Japanese pressure.
Here comes Fredrickson, finds an opening, and beats Ikizaki. Quick inbound to Shimakawa. Shimakawa Almost lost the ball to Scalbo, but instead turns. Goes deep to Noramatsu. Kicks it back to Ikezaki. He's hit, but gets the ball to Shimakawa. Ikezaki down the middle. Looking for Shimakawa. Nice give and go, and they'll wait for a moment here to knock off a few more seconds off the time. And they're getting really technical now. Usually we don't see that till 120 or so. Now they're doing it 140.
Yeah, they're obviously trying to set up that last possession of the quarter for themselves, and we'll see how that works out for them.
We'll talk about thinking ahead, and here's Frederickson doubled over the top. Nice Hail Mary pass to Mark Peters, and he reels that one in for the try.
Yeah, that was a difficult catch. The ball came from directly behind him. He had to lean back and watch that ball, and that's where some trunk comes in handy to stay in control of your chair while leaning backwards to see the pass.
And Peters putting pressure on Shimakawa. Shimakawa finds Ikezaki. He'll hang on for a few moments.
Yeah, I think Japan's really trying to set up that 55-second goal here.
For 1 minute in the third quarter. And 55 exactly, Byron. Nice call. Maybe I should ask you what lotto tickets I should, or tickets I should, numbers I should pick on my ticket. Kruger gets it in to Frederickson. He's got some room left side. Cuts back into the middle. He's got a ton of room. He'll head straight down, forget the clock. They need the tries.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a good try from Denmark. They scored that goal fairly quickly. Not as quickly as they would have liked. If they could have scored that with maybe 5 seconds longer left on the clock, they would have actually taken back that last possession from Japan.
A little bit of a spinorama pass from Ikezaki, and Shimakawa right on it. And they will run the clock down a bit. Shimakawa loses the ball. I don't think anyone touched it. He recovers it, but goes out of bounds and uses one of the 4 times. How many times do you see a team with 4 of their timeouts left under a minute to go in the third quarter? That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, not often at all. But Japan obviously has been scoring at will here, so they haven't had to use them. And they use it there to get themselves out of some trouble.
Normally you'd use it to get the 15-second reset when you're below.
Yeah, that is one option that a lot of teams will employ, especially if they have quite a few of them left. And as the game gets later on, they'll use those timeouts to ensure that they get last goal.
So Nagayasu in the game, over to Shimakawa. Gets the ball back. Passes through the hands of Kano into the arms of Shimakawa.
Yeah, that ball pinballed around a little bit there, but ends up with a lucky Japanese bounce, and they get the goal.
And there will be not enough time for Peters to head down and score, and it'll be Danish ball on the sidelines. In 2 seconds, not quite enough time to get down there and score. Frederickson will just retrieve the ball and hang on for safety and go into that fourth quarter break, down by 12. Great performance by Japan, though.
Yeah, Japan's really keeping the pressure on, and they're really working hard and really forcing Denmark into some errors here. Looking over to the other court, I can see the score. It looks like it's Australia 29 to Canada 26, and they're just starting the third quarter. So
lots of game left over there. We'll take a moment, Byron, to thank some of our great sponsors that have helped us out. I'll go down the whole list, starting with BC Wheelchair Sports. They started the Canada Cup 8 cups ago in 2004. It's been the most prestigious wheelchair rugby tournament in the world, held during the Paralympic and the World Championships years. Wheelchair Rugby Canada, of course, and the International Wheelchair Rugby Federation, great supporters of this event. Obviously, Government of Canada, Government of BC, Richmond Sport hosting the Richmond Olympic Oval. And if you're in Vancouver area, Lower Mainland, you got to get out to the Oval, check out some of the action here, and just look at the architectural magnitude and beauty of this facility. Sheraton Vancouver Airport, Hilton Vancouver Airport, Vancouver Airport Marriott Hotel, Vesco Metalcraft, who make custom rugby wheelchairs. Hollister, Medical and Continence Care. Local 258 of the IBEW, International Brotherhood of Electrical Engineers. And these teams getting set here for the final quarter of the round robin. And I'll remind you on SportsCanada.TV tomorrow, that's Sunday, 10 a.m. Pacific, it'll be Sweden against Denmark. At noon, it'll be a rematch, Canada-Australia for the bronze medal. And of course, the gold medal game, Japan against the USA, and that'll be an exciting matchup. Japan ranked 4th in the world, but realistically, they're sneaking up there.
Yeah, so right now the world ranking, I think, is Australia number 1, the US at number 2, Canada at number 3, and the Japanese at number 4. I think Canada being ranked number 3 is pretty optimistic for Canada. I expect them to maybe have a 5th or 6th place result at Worlds. And Japan, realistically, they could finish anywhere in the top 3. They have that quality of a team. And Japan and U.S. played a nail-biter of a game yesterday. U.S. nearly won it on a last-minute try in the 4th quarter with only 4 seconds left on the clock, and they managed to score. So Japan's going to look for some redemption.
And Japan, of course, beating Australia in overtime by 1 try.
Yeah, we've been really fortunate to see some high quality wheelchair rugby here this weekend at the Richmond Oval.
Well, Kruger gets the ball into Fredrickson. Ike back in the game now, can't catch Fredrickson, and Denmark with a little bit of a speed advantage now as Jorgensen and Fredrickson are both speedy characters.
Yeah, these are the Danish high pointers we were talking about at the beginning of the game. They are very fast. So I'm excited. Yeah, I've been pleasantly surprised at how well they've been stacking up against the Japanese high pointers in terms of speed. Oftentimes the Danish high pointers are winning these drag races to score their tries.
We'll flip pass out to the side to Fredrickson from, I think that's Kruger that passed that one in. Fredrickson now, he's got Jorgensen with him. Jorgensen with a nice cracked block, and in goes Fredrickson. Here comes Nagayasu now, the 2.5. He's got a 3-on-1 against Fredrickson. What'll he do? He'll take the pick from Cano. And Cano's a bit of a veteran too. He's played since 2007 on this team.
Yeah, and Japan's got their balance lineup out there. They're running a 3-2-5-2.5. Cano, like you mentioned, is a veteran on this Japanese team, and he's going to use these minutes to show the coach what he can do.
Fredrickson doing a Savardian-like spinorama or 2 there before he heads across the line. I'm surprised he didn't get dizzy. Kanu now up to Ike. Ike back to Kano. Kano right side, tracked down by Fredrickson. Finds Nagayasu, I should say, sorry, Nagayasu. And that pass back to Kano, and Kano is on the board. So when you talk about those lineups, Byron, as we hear a tire pop right in front of us, when you talk about those lineups, you're talking about the classification numbers. Give us a rundown on that.
Yeah, so in the sport of wheelchair rugby, every athlete is classified and given a point value ranging from 0.5 to 3.5, and that's based on their disability, so what muscle groups they have working for them. So if you have fewer muscle groups working, you're going to be classed near the lower end of the spectrum, and if you have lots of muscle groups working, you're going to be a 3-pointer or a 3.5. Each team can only have 8 points in total on the court between their 4 players. So the teams will always be balanced in terms of function, and a player will often play a very specific role based on their point value. So low pointers will often not be carrying the ball, but they'll be setting picks and blocks.
And so that will be an offensive penalty, I believe, on Fredrickson. He rode up. That's the problem with the cambered wheels sometimes. He rode up on the Japanese defender's chair, and in the act of flipping over, I think he landed on the Japanese player, and of course, if you do that, that's a penalty.
Yeah, and even if he hadn't made contact with that Japanese player, he had the ball. So as soon as he hits the ground, that's going to end up in a
violation anyway.
Yeah, it's going to
one
end
way or
up
the
in a
other.
turnover. So that was a great job by that Japanese defender to get wheel position and cause Fredrickson to ride up on his wheel.
And that's indeed what it was, as Fredrickson's still on there. And here comes Cano. Nice over-the-top pass to Haga, and that's the first time we've seen him in the game.
But Leon managed to intercept that pass with his speed there. Good job from Denmark to get that turnover back.
And Shimakawa, with the quick hands, flicks it out of bounds, and a very uncharacteristic turnover for Team Japan.
Yeah, it is. That pass was, a little bit off the mark, and it just allowed Leon Jorgensen to track it down with his good speed.
Jorgensen now on the left side, runs into Shimakawa and Wakayama, so everyone getting into the act for Japan. Kano reaches in, but Fredrickson able to elude that long reach of Kano and goes in for the try.
Yeah,
so neither team backing down here, Byron.
No, they're really going at it, and each team has gone a little bit into their bench here. Japan's got a 3-2-2-1 out there, so they're going to play hard because they really want to impress the coach with these playing minutes that they're getting here. They want to perform well and show the coach that they're capable of playing more minutes.
So Haga there, a three-time Paralympian, spent a little time playing down in New Zealand as well, and I was down in New Zealand in the early 90s doing wheelchair rugby and wheelchair basketball clinics.
Yeah, New Zealand, they've had a really great wheelchair rugby program. I believe they won the 2004 Paralympics, narrowly beating out Canada for that gold medal. Since then, their program has regressed a little bit. Their ranking has dropped, but
well, it's either that or the other teams have come up.
yeah,
It's definitely the level of play here is the best I've ever seen it.
yeah, it's really incredible to watch wheelchair rugby. It's so fast and dynamic these days. New Zealand has qualified for Worlds, so we will see them in Australia.
The Wheel Blacks, as they're known. Do they do the haka before each game? I can't remember.
They don't do it for every game, but I've been privileged enough to be on the opposing end of the haka in 2015 at the BT World Challenge in London, England. It was a real treat to get to see the Wheel Blacks do the haka.
Yeah, that's neat. Strong rugby tradition, obviously, in New Zealand. So once again, while we got a moment here, we'll remind everyone, either on Facebook through the Canadian Paralympic Team Facebook page or here on SportsCanada.TV, you can watch all the finals action. 10 a.m. Pacific, 5th versus 6th at Denmark and Sweden. Denmark won that earlier matchup in a bit of an upset. It'll be Canada-Australia, a rematch of the other court, and a rematch of London gold medal game at noon Pacific, and at 2 USA-Japan for the gold medal.
And if for some reason you're not able to watch it live, I believe the games are being archived. So when you have the moment, tune in and watch some great wheelchair rugby.
Kano, long pass up ahead to Shimikawa. Shimikawa wide open, and Elmholt back into the game now as Bach Eriksson as well, and Skabo. So everyone getting into the act here for both teams. Jorgensen turns, trapped by two Japanese players, gets it to number 2, Elmholt. He's hooked, manages to get it off to Jorgensen, and Jorgensen will sprint down, beating Haga for the try. The Danes full court pressure here. Haga goes around the outside, hangs on. He's hit hard by Bach Eriksson and is forced to call that timeout.
Yeah, and that was a great pick from Waka there to free up that sideline for the Japanese two-pointer to advance up. But unfortunately, he couldn't quite get across half in 12 seconds, so he uses that timeout.
Skabo trying to prevent Kano from getting in bounds, and Kano backs up, gets a bit of steam going, So now it's 3-on-3. Scalbo's successful. Here comes Shimakawa. Oh, Jornsen reached in, took his hands off his wheels, and Shimakawa went around him like a proverbial hoop around a barrel. That's one thing the coaches have got to tell you, Byron, about taking your hands off the wheel to reach for a steal. It looks fancy if it works, but if you miss,
you look like a bit of a donkey.
that's right.
Yeah, so what the coaches will tell you is to establish chair position, and then once you've stopped the ball, then you can reach. But
Oh, yeah.
but you are taking a risk every time you take your hands off your wheel of getting beat. So you got to pick the right
Shimakawa.
opportunities to do so.
Shimakawa rolling in as Haga provides the 2-on-1 decoy. And Japan full court pressure. You know, if you didn't have access to the scoreboard, you think the game was tied. Both teams full court pressing.
Yeah, there's no quit in either of these teams, which is great to see.
Scalpo calls inbounder. She's going to work the ball into Bach Eriksson. Bach Eriksson spins away from Cano. He's got some room.
Yeah, that was some great speed.
Nice lead pass to Jornsen. Does he get it? No, he
No.
doesn't.
I think he probably could have held on to that ball there. I think he misjudged his own speed. I think he could have made that try himself without going for that pass. But yeah, obviously when you have that shin right there, yeah, maybe he was a little bit nervous and attempted to pass to Leon there.
So just over 3 minutes to go in the final round robin game of the 2018 Canada Cup for wheelchair rugby.
And Japan's brought in a new lineup. We have a 2-5-2-2-1-5 out there.
So talk to us in the lineup, Byron, in terms of attackers and defending chairs.
Yeah, so you probably noticed that players will use one of two different chairs here. There's those shorter offensive chairs or high point chairs, and then there's those longer chairs with the pick bar out front, defensive chairs or low point chairs. So oftentimes your class value will determine what kind of chair you use. If you're class 2 or higher, you'll be in one of those high pointer chairs or offensive chairs. And if you're below a class 2, you'll be in the longer defensive chairs. And that's really to suit what kind of role you're going to be playing out there on the court.
Helmholt with a dangerous pass over top to Jornsen. He's double teamed, ball tipped out of bounds, and I think it'll be Denmark ball.
Yeah, Denmark retains possession of it, but they're looking like they're getting hemmed up in that corner there.
Jornsen back to Helmholt. He's pushed backwards, hangs on though, gets it off to Bach Eriksson, looking for an opening. He sees Jornsen open on the left, but Jornsen doesn't use that advantage. Instead comes back towards the ball. Bach Eriksson really did a great job of protecting the ball and drawing the penalty.
Yeah, he was getting swarmed there, and the Japanese players were really had open season on that ball, but he protects it and draws the penalty, and that's a good result for Denmark there because they were in trouble.
So one of the few times that Denmark will be on the power play in this game. Down by 12 tries with 2:23 to go, but you'd never know it the way they're playing. Great intensity. Coach Regier got to be happy with that heading into the Worlds.
Yeah, I know Denmark, they're ranked 9th in the world going into Worlds. They're going to definitely look to improve that ranking, and I believe they have a very good shot of doing so.
Well, Helmholt bobbled that pass, but managed to recover just in time and narrows the gap to 11.
Yeah, that was a great second effort to recover that ball.
Cano will pass it in to Nagayasu. Back to Cano. Cano fakes the pass. Instead, he'll take it himself. Misses on that crack block from Haga, I think it is. Instead, the wide pass to Norimatsu. Can't hang on.
That's unfortunate there. That pass was just a little bit low and in front, and he could not secure it.
Norimatsu having a good tournament. Actually, he's got 19 tries coming into this game.
Yeah, he's a great 1-5. He's very fast, and he's defensively he's a beast. It's very tough to get around him. He often will guard higher point players one-on-one and have success, which is amazing for the rest of his team.
Elmholt now gathers that pass in. They give and go to Jornsen. Jornsen finds just enough room right side inside the post. And he rolls over for the try.
And I believe we have a bench timeout here. And
Coach
Japan's going to make some subs.
Coach Orr up at the score table getting some subs into the game. Minute 29 to go. An opportunity now for young Hashimoto, the 15-year-old. He's a rookie on the team, obviously. Be hard not to be a rookie at that age.
Yeah, I think
They'll probably be calling him rookie for about the next 5 years.
I think the youngest player to ever play wheelchair rugby at such a high level was probably Riley Batt. And Riley is now probably the best player in the world, if not in the top 2. So I'm sure Japan's looking to have the same sort of story for their youngster here.
And Hashimoto, of course, is going to get a lot bigger and a lot stronger as time goes on, as we see Jornsen now beating Hashimoto all the way down. He tries to lay the hit on him. And it's like a flea bouncing off. But top marks for effort, Hashimoto.
Yeah, and you know what? If he can learn the basics of the game now and, develop those chair skills and develop that head for wheelchair rugby, when he does develop that size, he's really going to be a dangerous player.
Ikezake now with a little head fake. Jornsen doesn't go for it, though. Scalbo comes over to help out in the double team. Ikezake twisting, turning, nowhere to go. He's got Hashimoto wide open instead. Oh, he does. Eventually hands it off to him. Nice play by Ikezake. Could have easily added to his point total, but instead gives the rookie a try.
It's nice to see. You always want success for your teammates, and they're working hard to
Elmholt tracked down by Ikezake. Gets the ball over top to Bach Eriksson, but the ball goes off his chair. It's going to go out of bounds on the nice hit from Hashimoto. Heads up play by the rookie there.
Yeah, that was some great speed to get there and prevent Denmark from recovering that fumble.
So Japan should run the clock down. Ikezake tries the long pass to Hashimoto, just out of his reach.
Yeah, he almost tracked that ball down, but it has some pace on it.
So Denmark will get one last opportunity here with 15 seconds to go. Bach Eriksson set to inbound. He's got Elmholt. You got Jorgensen, who was fronted, now is free. He hits Hashimoto. Is hit by Ikezake. Jorgensen is one tough player.
Yeah, before that ball was inbounded, Jorgensen was working very, very hard to keep his chair position on the Japanese defender and opening up that over-the-top pass. And when he sensed that he had that window, he called for it and received that ball deep. So that was a great, great job from the Danish high pointer.
From the veteran, and that'll do it for the round robin here at the Canada Cup of wheelchair rugby. Japan with a 10-point victory over Team Denmark, 57-47. And we'll just remind you quickly that tomorrow's games, 10 a.m. on SportsCanada.TV or on Facebook, Canadian Paralympic Team, will be Sweden and Denmark at 10 a.m. for the 5th place. The bronze medal match, Canada and Australia. And right now, we're just looking down the end. I think there's just under a minute to go, and looks like Australia will get the victory over there, but anything can happen in that bronze medal game tomorrow. And then the gold medal game, 2 p.m. Pacific here at the Richmond Olympic Oval in sunny Richmond, British Columbia. I'm Tim Frick, joined by Byron Green for SportsCanada.TV, and we will see you tomorrow.
Yeah,